Hi guys, let's start our analysis for our recent Ethereum trade. We'll start off with the daily, show you what I was looking at setting up and leading into the trade. Had this beautiful bullish run up here and we had a blow off candle here. So beautiful high test rejection, and this is where the bears stepped in and closed out. So after this daily close here, what I wanted was a pullback to form a lower high and then continue in for the next run down for our corrective waves. Just quickly look at the 4 hour. So this is it here, bearish momentum, huge bearish momentum. We actually created a lower low and then we pulled back around about this level here to find our first lower high. Now it didn't turn out to be our lower high. We sold off there and continued a bit higher, and this here is our lower high. So unfortunately we got stopped out on this one. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder continued to be a little bit higher. Here's the 1 hour where the trade was executed. Same as a 4 hour, just a little bit more detailed and clear. Momentum, huge bearish sell-off, pullback, 0.38 fib and EMAs. As you know, I like to see a break of a trend line, rising wedge, and also the EMAs on a fib pullback. So that's what we got here, exactly my entry criteria. This is why we entered. Now the correct entry would have been around about here, $305, $306. However, I didn't enter there because we had $300 round figure and had previously acted as support there. So price could have quite easily bounced at this level and taken off. So we entered once we'd broken and cleared that. Then our path of least resistance was to the downside to 274. Now just point out I picked 274 as our first target. I did want to take this trade further, but 274 also lined up with Bitcoin being at $10,000. So as you know, Ethereum and Bitcoin have moved in sync pretty much of recent months. So it's just convenient that 274 lined up with Bitcoin 10,000. So that was the level I was looking for first before taking further. So let's talk about the stop out, why we got stopped out. Could we have done anything about it? I'll just point out this horizontal level here at 315 and over here on the left. 1, 2, 3, 4 rejections and then a little break and retest. So there's a very strong intraday level there, and in fact this is the area here we entered our long after we broke that resistance. So we've got a nice profitable trade there before selling off. That's why my stop loss was at 321. Just above this resistance level, gave us a little bit of breathing room. So if we had have just got a high test or rejection there and then continued to the downside, we would have still been in the trade, and the trade's actually going to start playing out and turning out exactly how I analyze it. Unfortunately, we got tagged out first. So was there an error? Was there a fault with this trade? It's just one of those things, like it's a little bit hard when you just get taken out by a wick or a small fraction. You think, oh, I've stuffed up here, I've screwed up, the analysis isn't right. But at the end of the day, that stop loss was in a level that is reasonable, practical, and it proved my trade bias wrong. So there are a few factors that could have been considered and I didn't think of at the time. Now one of them was the quarterly contracts on Ethereum and the other altcoins closing on BitMEX. So what we saw then across the board on all the alt pairs was a little bit of a jump in price, and what that would have been was people closing their short contracts and flipping them over. So we got a little bit more of a run up here on Ethereum than we did Bitcoin. So that's possibly one of the main reasons why we did get stopped out before it continued lower. And also these fib levels, it would have been quite reasonable for me to move this stop loss above a 0.5 fib or above a 0.6 fib on the overall move down. But I'll just show you the daily candle as well. So this is the bearish daily candle. Fib on this daily. There to there. So the 0.618 fib is at 317. We got stopped out at 321. So our 0.618 fib, we were still stopped out above that. So it's one of those things. The stop loss was okay. We just got taken out. The trade entry was good. Oh, excuse me. The trade entry was good, but not perfect, because the ideal entry would have been up about here, but I wasn't prepared to trade through $300. And if we had a softer stop, we probably would have used lower leverage, and then it would have been questionable whether we had worthy risk reward down to 274. So if that was the case with a softer stop, we probably wouldn't have taken the trade. The risk reward wouldn't have been worth it. So all in all, I'm happy to take that trade. I'd probably take it again. Would I have a softer stop? Maybe. Probably maybe take it above the 0.5. Could have even still got stopped out then, maybe. One of those things. Unfortunate trade. These are the things you got to do journals and backtesting and things like that for. So like just a fraction of a stop out like this, it's not really a big problem. It's not an issue because there's a clear level in the sand where I was proven wrong with this resistance level. But if you're continually just stopped out or just tagged out of trades before you see them turn out and run in your favor, there's something there. So this is not something that happens to me very often, just getting tagged out. Usually when I get stopped out, price just keeps going and going and going. You know, if price had gone up to 340, 345, well, you'd be like, yeah, okay, well, that trade didn't work out, no problems about that. But just because we got wicked out, it always raises a few extra questions and makes you doubt whether you had it right or not. In this situation, I'm happy with it, but you just need to make sure if this happens regularly, you know, out of every 2 or 3 stop outs, you got to wonder what you're doing with having your risk reward so tight. So that's it. That's the analysis on this one. It's probably going to trade out. It's going to probably play out here. Bitcoin's likely to hit 10,000. In fact, I think it did in the last 24 hours. So not much to trade at the moment. Might just end up in a bit of a choppy zone for a while. We'll see how we go. 274 breaks. We could look at going back down to 245. So that's it for now, guys. I hope you enjoyed the analysis and got a little bit out of it and what my thought processes were.